Well, hey everybody, it's the 4th day of September 2025. I'm Jan Erickson, and this is As Above, So Below. I hope you're having a good week. We have more fires popping up around the area, which is, we're not even done with that big one yet. So we'll see how well my voice does throughout this today. I woke up with my eyes practically glued shut. So, fun times, right? Well, we have a Laguz here. It's the 21st rune of the Elder Futhark. Looks like a little hook. In fact, empaths can visualize it as a magical hook to draw back energy to you. If you're empathic, it's very helpful to do that. I say this every time I draw Laguz, just in case someone doesn't know this, it might help them. Empaths have a tendency to absorb energy around them, emotion in particular. And it's very hard to not want to connect with people that are trying to connect to you. And people don't even realize, you give your attention to something, you're trying to connect with it. And it's I used to have, back before COVID started, I would have complete strangers start talking to me in checkout lines. I don't know them, but they're telling me all this stuff, and you want to be kind because they need something from you, and in fact, I even wrote a book about it, When Vampires Attack, which is the second book I wrote about being empathic. And it's about energy vampires, from the people that'll do that, which are just, they're little needy at the moment, and they just need to talk to somebody about something, and but they latch on to you, so you have to do it, right? All the way up to people that are, psychopathic, and that type of energy vampire. And the things you can do, to try to shield yourself from stuff like that, and to understand it, because that's really what you need to do, is you need to understand what's going on, really. But anyway, with Laguz, you can visualize it, and you can just be quiet, or you can meditate, whatever you want to do. Just get quiet and do a visualization thing quickly, where you imagine all of your connections that have been made either from you or by you or by somebody else dissolving. Some people call it cutting cords. I've always said I find that a little bit harsh, but if that's how you see it and it works for you, then great, use it. I just prefer to see everything dissolve around me, and then chant Laguz softly and visualize all of my own stuff coming back to me. And so Laguz is really about intuition and flow and clairsentience and harmony, emotional balance, and again, drawing energy back to you. And it's easy to, especially if you're on social media a lot, to engage with people. Or even if you don't talk to them, you're still seeing it. You're being impacted by it. Those are energetic connections, emotion-based, that are getting to you. And you have to do this. You have to either get off social media, go be by yourself, just kind of clear your mind, bring your own, stuff back to you, let go of the rest. If it's really important, you're going to go back to it. But if it's not, then it's not going to bother you anymore. But it just feels like you need to just brush that stuff off. And Laguz is something that can help you with that. Now, if that's not what this is about today for you, then it's about flowing from spirit, essentially, and letting that flow into your higher self, your higher mind, flow into your perceptions and your reactions and how you see things. Because, nobody makes you see things the way that you do. It's a choice, You give the meaning to everything that you see. You can sit back and say, I don't know what any of this means, because you really maybe don't. You may decide that you know, but at minimum, you really don't, unless you're the one doing it. And even then, maybe you don't know. So you give everything the meaning that it has. And so it's either real or it's not. Perception is just perception. It doesn't necessarily mean objective reality. You can, this is a rune, but it's also other things. It's a piece of wood, that my husband cut off of a branch so I could make these runes, and the other runes I use, if they're not stone ones, then I make them. It's just, but anyway, you can look at it as a lot of different things, but in this moment it's a rune from the water element with a single dot on it, so an active principle, that I'm going to put in these four, I'm going to put in the order of fire, air, water, and earth. But the idea with there could be some kind of sixth sense you have, intuition you have about something today that you need to listen to, and there may be more to the story, but at the same time you don't want to ignore intuition today. So that's where I'm going to start with that one. Now let me put these runes in the order of fire, air, water, and earth, and it looks like I have Caput Draconis, which is let's see, did we have any of the Draconi last week? We did, or no, I rebooted my computer. Let me get to where I am today on my list of readings I do. No. Oh, I had Kata last Thursday, which is the tail of the dragon. Caput is the head of the dragon. They reflect the nodes of the moon, and so Kata would be the south node and past life or past experience or karma. And then Caput would be new beginnings, or on the threshold of new beginnings. Would be the head of the dragon. And the north node of the moon. So just a little bit of clarification there. Okay, where are you? That's Kata. There's Caput. I just keep them in a little bowl because it's easier to find than to put them in a rune bag when I need to find them. So anyway, we have Caput Draconis, and again, your intuition could be telling you that you're on the threshold of something new happening. So pay attention to that. There could be some synchronicities going on where you're kind of like, whoa, well, okay, I didn't expect that, but that's interesting. Pay attention to stuff like that today and over the next few days till we do another reading again on Monday. Anyway, let's do some cards here, get some shuffling done. I've already done some. I'm going to shuffle just a little bit more, and then I'm going to cut the deck and take the lower half, and I will draw 3 cards. And we'll see if we can kind of focus us in a little more on what this might have to do with in terms of paying attention to synchronicities and your intuition and the possibility of being on the threshold of something new happening. There could be news coming out, that you've been waiting to hear maybe about. Could be any number of things. Let's go ahead and... Well, we have 2 cards from the Major Arcana. I'm not sure what I'm not sure what order I'm going to want these in. Let me do the numerology really quick, though. So 21 for Laguz, which results in a 3 actually, plus the 8 of Pentacles here, plus the Hierophant, which is a 5 from the Major Arcana, and the Tower, which is let's see, a 15, or I'm sorry, a 16. Again, my eyes were glued shut this morning when I woke up. I'm like, I can't wake up. I can't get my eyes open. So 16 is 50, so a 5. So some change. Definitely with the Tower. I think that with the 5 for the Hierophant, let me just do this one more time just to be sure. 1 plus 8 is 29. That's 11 plus 5, 34. That's 7 plus 16 is 50. So yeah, that's definitely a 5. 5 is about change and protection and innovation and variety, freedom versus restriction. We have a lot of issues right now collectively about freedom versus restriction, centering on certain people in our population, certain people of color. But we have the Tower here, which tends to blow the lid off of everything. It's a reset, it's a rebalancing, it's the bringing of truth in a way. And I think that I'm going to start with the five, just how I pulled them, or not the five, the eight of, I'm looking at the five here, the eight of pentacles here with, we see a guy who's a craftsman. He's working on his trade. He's increasing his wealth. He's also displaying what he knows how to do. So you can see the town kind of in the background there. So he's out away from that, and he's doing his work. And, you can think of like a master carpenter or a master creator of some kind. He's been through his training. He's been working diligently on his tasks. Eight is about leadership. It's about material recognition and approval. It's also about greater harmony and strength. Having the strength to go it alone, maybe being an independent contractor, maybe what's new on the horizon today with Caput Draconis has to do with something to do business related, where maybe you're going to go out on your own and start something as an entrepreneur, maybe and become self-employed, as opposed to working for somebody. Particularly if you're a craftsman, there's a certain sense of artistry about that. And it's hard when you're an artist to have somebody criticize your work. It's hard and want you to conform to a certain type of stuff when your creativity, your flow, your laguz is something else. It's coming from somewhere else. And so, you may come to a point where you realize I have to do something different, and maybe an opportunity has arisen. Maybe you got some kind of a inheritance or something recently, and you're thinking about, well, how, and there's money involved, and maybe you're thinking about, well, what can I do, or maybe you inherited a business from a relative that has to do with this type of work. And now you're going to be the boss, or you're going to be the sole proprietor of the business. It just seems like because he's off by himself, sole proprietor comes to mind, where you have control over what you're doing and how you're doing it. Whereas maybe before you didn't, and you weren't happy there. So this could be something like that. It could resonate that way. Now, as far as the Hierophant goes next, you're looking at balance here between the two pillars. You're looking at the priest and the two monks down below. You've got the keys, knowledge, and tradition. But what you've got here, besides the ornate aspect of this and the religious aspect of this, it's about mastery again, and hidden knowledge, and having a teacher that you can go to, or you being the teacher, you're teaching someone else. So maybe you're doing this, but maybe you're going to take on some apprentices, maybe, so that you can, give your knowledge to them and help them in their life, and their work, and as time goes on. It also can mean divine wisdom and mercy as well. But again, there's a level of mercy there when you want to share what that you've been keeping to yourself with other people, as say in an apprentice situation. So I don't see the Hierophant as something that's religious in nature, but I do see it as something where you have some ability to draw down higher awareness here and see the bigger picture and understand how you can transfer your ultimate legacy onto people that want to learn from you. So you may, again, while you may be doing something new here, it may also, in a sole proprietor type of business, as a craftsperson maybe, or whatever it is, because this could be, this is just how this is being presented. It could be anything really, where you're building your wealth and you're showing it to everybody so that you can continue to do the work that you do. You're out there advertising for yourself, in other words, and advocating for what you can do. But you may also take on this role as a mentor for other people, and to share what you know with others who can also either ultimately work with you maybe, or go off on their own somewhere else. And so there may be a component of mentorship as well as an opportunity for some kind of better control over the work that you do. And typically, unfortunately, that means going out on your own. It's just what happens. But at some point here, a rebalancing has to take place. And that's why I think maybe we can start with this first, that then tells you that it's time to do something different that also may include mentorship for other people. But here you have a rebalancing. You have the lightning bolt coming in and hitting the top of the tower, blowing the top off. You see the two people, well, fire coming out of the windows, and you see two people falling. If you want to look at it this way, you've got some Will with the red cape or whatever that is that's on him. He's also wearing blue. The other person's wearing blue, but they have red shoes on. So there's to me, there's a rebalancing between will and emotion. So self-assertion and the willingness to do what you need to do, to accept the change that's about to come on you, but to have the emotional balance with that, so the emotions don't get you carried away into something that maybe is unrealistic. But when you've got the 16th card of the major arcana, it reduces to 7. And so again, you're looking at something that to me reminds me of a set of scales, where you've got, the top, and then you've got the two pans here, where you have things settle out and you understand what the truth of something is, that then motivates you through the will and through the desire from the emotional side of it to move in a different direction and to accept the change. As we have the 5 here is the overall numerology for the reading again, which is about change, initially change and protection. So while you want to protect yourself going forward and be careful and diligent and practical and all of that the earth element here is talking about in the Suit of Pentacles, at the same time, you still have to put yourself out there and show what you can do. Otherwise, you're not going to have any customers. You're not going to have any income coming in. And so you have to be able to do that. And so maybe there's just something that's happened in your current job where, it's just become really obvious that something different needs to happen. And you decide to set out on your own. And possibly with a mentorship component. You may be the people you hire. You want them to do things in the way that you have the same standard of excellence. So you're going to need to train them. Maybe you just take on one at a time. You may start out on your own, just yourself, but then in order to maximize and help pay the rent, you're going to need to have somebody else as well. And so maybe they do have some experience, but not to the level that you have. And so you may end up having to mentor some people along the way so that you can create the kind of environment that's going to best serve your business and the needs and your financial needs, essentially, not just yours, but not just the business, but your own, so you can actually support yourself, and if you have a family, with that income. And then also that the people you hire will also be able to contribute to their own support and the support of their families if they have one. But again, you may end up having to not just, do your own thing. You're going to have to share that and have those expectations then at the end of the day of these people that you're training, that they're going to produce and do things with the same standard of excellence that you want to have. But it just seems like something happens to change everything. The tower changes everything. And I don't wonder if I have that in here. I don't know if I do. I think I took them out. But if you look at the Thoth Tarot, the Tower card is so different in that one. I don't think I have that in there. If you go to tarot.com, you can probably still bring that up and look at all the cards and go and look at that at the Tower. Usually I have that in here. But I think I took it out to the living room one day because I was doing a reading with them. Anyway, I buy both the big cards and the small version of them. But it's just spectacular because you got this orange thing coming in with big teeth and just, it's like a dragon who's breathing fire on everything, and there's just all these oranges throughout the card. It's just really amazing card, and just destroying things, But with this, it's a little more precise than with the Thoth Tarot. Same energy, but a little more precise. And you see a little bit more to the card, I think. The other one is just like, whoa. But this one is like, okay, what's really happening here? And so there's a little more definition, I think, to the Rider-Waite version of the card than I think I've seen in any other deck. And I've got a lot of different decks. But again, I think that something has happened in your life that makes you rethink things and to try to find a different balance about what you're doing. And it's likely work related. It may be something with Caput Draconis where you're on the threshold of making a different choice, of going in a different direction, of something new coming into your life, which again could be some kind of a small business, based on what you know how to do. That you're either inheriting or creating or whatever it is. And again, though, there may also be something else that could be happening as well. If you already have this, or as you're thinking about doing it and you're making the plans and you're beginning it, you realize at some point you're going to have to hire people. But realistically, hiring people with the same level of experience you have, you could be at loggerheads with them, because like who decides? Because someone with your experience is going to want to do their own thing too, right? So to me, the monks tell the story, and here the acolytes tell the story here that they're learning at the feet of the teacher. And again, this is a more, he's supposed to represent the Pope, but it doesn't have to be that way. You have higher knowledge when you are the sole proprietor and the expert, the journeyman or whatever, the master carpenter, the master at what you know, whatever it is. And you may want to hire some people that may have a little bit of skill, but have a little bit of knowledge about things. But if you get them when they're just learning, then you can train them in the way you want them to be trained, and plus have control over the output of what you're doing in that way. So to me, I see that as both ways, not only on the threshold of maybe, making some realizations here where I can't keep doing what I'm doing. I really need to focus this in for myself and have my own thing going. But again, there's also the component of at some point you're going to need to hire people, and you really probably are going, given what you're doing and the type of work you do, it may be that you need to be the mentor of them and to train them the way you want them to be trained. Again, so that you, as a small business, you have control over the output. Because if you don't, then, people don't trust you because the work's not going to be consistent. So in any event, I think that's what is possibly happening. And as far as Laguz goes, your intuition is going to be something you can rely upon and you want to pay attention to. You also want to pay attention to any synchronicities that can help you move in that new direction that Caput Draconis is talking about. So I think that those two are going to dovetail. I don't think they're at odds. The runes are not at odds with one another today. And again, with the 5 numerology, it is talking about change, but you want to do it in a way that protects what it is you're trying to accomplish. So anyhow, I think that's it. But with the heavier weight of 2 major arcana cards, right there, that's a synchronicity in and of itself. And so you don't want to ignore it. You want to pay close attention. This could be a moment in your life where you turn a page and you head off in a new direction that could be quite lucrative. So, and you can build your wealth that way. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Check out the blog over at Stepping Aside. The web address there is imsteppingaside.com. If you forget, click on more below the video. A box will open and it's right there at the top. And if you haven't yet clicked subscribe here, I would love you to do that. And come back again on Monday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.